I was out one afternoon with a buddy in Los Angeles. We were just driving around, and we were in a fender bender ourselves. My buddy got out of the car, and a few minutes later came back in, and I asked him, so like, what happened back there? He's like, well, I did what we usually do at these sort of situations, and I exchanged my information with this guy. Name, address, phone number. I said, what if he did it on purpose, and he's coming to kill you tonight? And at that moment, I knew it. I had my next idea for my next picture. I wrote that script faster than I wrote any script in my life. And that's how I came up with the idea for Fender Bender. The style of the picture is a throwback to the 1970, 1980 classic horror movies, especially the ones made by this guy, John Carpenter. Halloween, The Fog. Hey JC, what's up, man? I've always been a big fan of these pictures, but I love the ones that have more style to them and that actually take a little more time with the characters. And the way I like to film the scenes and sequences is in a more classical style. I like longer takes, a little more fluid camera. I like for the audience to look at a frame and to look for things within a frame without overcutting. I mean, the cast is incredible.
I am a fan of horror movies, and I knew one of the producers on this film personally, and he shared the script with me. And I unfortunately read it by myself at night, was really frightened by it, and thought it would be fun to come on board.
I love this film because it's total throwback 80s genre, you know, scary movie of that time. And my favorite part, it's so cool looking at the monitor as they're filming it, it's on wide. And it's so cool looking at it because there's so much negative space, and just even looking at a regular image of a street, it's somehow suddenly eerie. And it's set now, set in modern times, but it has the essence of the 80s. And I think it's unique because it touches on something that's more realistic. In real serial killers come off as possibly alluring or charming, and that's what this film definitely, it stresses that.
I mean, there is an absolute amount of adrenaline that comes from watching something that really scares you that I think is fun. It's kind of like going on a ride at an amusement park or something. And I think that it's a genre that continues to be really attractive to people, and that interests me. It's one of the only genres that you can guarantee people will watch just to see if it scares them. And that's pretty enticing.
I love horror. I think the fans are really, it's theirs, and they're true to it, and it's one of the really great indie genres.
They're fun to play. They're a lot of fun to play. It's great to be thrown around and screaming and chased after. And there's different layers to play. I mean, there's the fun, light scenes, and then there's the more emotional and terrifying scenes. And I find that really energizing for me.
The most challenging scene, or not necessarily the most challenging, but difficult as a performer, was the introduction of Hillary and the driver.
I bumped the main character for the first time, and just sort of tell her that it's because I had to change the radio. Just as I done that, she's was looking at her, texting her mom or something. Well, it cost her.
The driver is a human extension of his car. So he is his car. When he leaves the car, he's still the car. So he's a machine. Bill Sage is amazing, and what was really exciting about working with Bill is the choices he brings to the role. I mean, he'll bring ideas to me constantly. If I turn like this, if I look like this, if I do this gesture like this, you guys will know what this means when you see the movie.
The great thing about playing a killer is that they have their reasons, so that's always interesting. And that's the tragedy of life, is that everybody has their reasons. That's what makes things, that's what's truly horrifying to me. I see it as a cautionary tale for millennials. Don't text and drive. Do not text and drive.
In that scene, there are two levels of trauma occurring, and Hillary doesn't know it. The audience knows it. And that's what I love, is that Hillary is in a car accident, and she's so focused on that, and what she doesn't even realize is there's the most dangerous thing standing directly behind her. And That scene has such a simple shot, just the two people right next to each other, and she's focused on the car and he's focused on her, and it's so eerie and so creepy, and I think it definitely sets the tone for innocence and the destruction of innocence. It's my favorite.
How do I kill him? Can I reveal that?
Yeah.
The way I kill them is I have a door handle that doubles as an iron, a EKG defibrillator, a sandwich press. It also happens to be a knife, and it's my weapon of choice.
And working with Mackenzie on the movie, she's the heart and soul of the film. And she has brought so much depth and warmth to the character, and it just sometimes breaks my heart to watch it. And you'll know what I mean after you see. I'm full of spoilers, aren't I?
My character Hillary is one of his targets, and just so happens to be a lot more different than the other women that he's targeted. A lot stronger, and I think it takes him by surprise. I think her connection with him is what scares her, because he has such a strong presence. The scene where Hillary meets the driver, to me, is so unique, because in a moment that's supposed to be about the car accident, instinctually there's this really eerie vibe that comes from this really nice, overly comforting man, and his ability to kind of pick someone apart as he looks at them. I hope that we did it justice, just because that scene was written so incredibly.
I really hope that it looks as scary as it felt in the moment doing it. And I'm excited to see people's reactions. I think what's more interesting about a horror film, after you kind of know what it's about, is turning your own camera and watching people watch the horror movie, because getting those reactions from people is really, really satisfying. And it's really fun to have a director for such a dark theme be so happy and lighthearted in between takes. I think it creates a really nice balance on set.
His enthusiasm is contagious, and he's just, he's really animated in the way that he directs, and it's wonderful. It's really wonderful. And he does this, he tells you what, he says, and then you're gonna kill a bunch of millennials. That's what he does. That's my Mark impersonation.
It's just easy to collaborate with him, and I feel really open, and I can make choices as an actor, and it's not, and he doesn't make it intimidating, and he's always really upbeat.
I don't really know how to put Mark into words. He's unique, and I think his vision of this project is not something that the average human being could think up. And it's really funny too, having this really nice guy who's so happy-go-lucky all the time think up something like this story. There's definitely some interesting things turning in his head.
It's been a blast, man. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm making a modern slasher picture in an age when they're really not making them anymore. And I have an amazing company, Shout Factory, and the Chiller Network behind me on this. They love the film as much as I do. And I think we're making really something very special for fans of the genre. So next time you're in a fender bender and you have to exchange information with a total stranger, think about this film. Think about Fender Bender.